Hey, everybody. Welcome into the building. It's Saturday night. It's Trending Topics. I'm here in the building, and the title tonight is called Family Matters, okay? Family Matters. Yes, I'm here, Trending Topics. Let me fix everything. Yes, Family Matters. I'm going to give a small update on, do you remember the family that we talked about earlier in the week where the mom left the kids for years by themselves and would drop off food once a week? Got a smidgen of an update on that. We're going to talk about it. And yes, she has been arrested. To God be the glory. So we're going to talk about that. But tonight's episode is called Family Matters. And the first story on the docket is an Amazon driver. An Amazon driver, he hits this woman, hit her with the Amazon truck, hits her, then continues to run over her. Then he stops, he gets out, he looks down at her, looks at her, gets back in his truck and pull off. Where they do that at? Well, he did it. He's now arrested. And of course, this woman, rightfully so, is suing. We're going to talk about it. Amazon driver hit and run. Sad. And I'm going to say that family has a GoFundMe. Yeah, unfortunately, Tammy, very serious, very sad too. He literally got out his truck, so he can't say he didn't know he didn't hit anybody. And there was other cars there. He got out his truck, he looked at her, sized her up, and then got back in the truck and pulled off. Terrible. But we're going to talk about it. Yes, Lexi, there's cameras everywhere. Welcome in the building, everybody. Make sure you purchase your ticket and hit that like button. Then there's a debate going on. Should parents charge their adult children rent if the adult children are living in your home? It's a little bit of debate. Should the parents charge the children? I guess it depends on a lot, but we're going to talk about it. RD said absolutely. Ooh. But it's going to be a conversation. We're going to talk about it. Should adult children be paying rent? Going to have a conversation. Then, unfortunately, nursing is a hazardous job. We got this nurse where the patient beat the bricks off of her so bad, he beat her in her face so bad that every bone in her face, they said, is broken. And she may lose her eyes. She may lose her eyesight. Now, somebody had to know that this patient had the tendency for some violence. Now you need to go in a room with backup when you're a nurse. It's crazy. Very sad. I feel for this nurse. All she wanted to do was help people, and she got beat up by the patient, and the fellow person was in there, left her, and went to go get help. when we do that story, I got a story to tell you, and it's a true story. Parents was fighting in the room. And the nurse at the time, she rings the call bell. Matter of fact, I take that back. She came and got me and my girlfriend, who was a patient care tech, and said she need help in the room. So we walked to the room with her to go help her out. We get in the room. Next thing we know, that nurse gone, and it's me and her, the tech. I was like, well, where'd she go? So she caused us to a dangerous situation. Did she do since she was out? And if you ever worked in pediatrics, I can't say every hospital like this, but the hospital I worked in, the pediatric floor is a locked unit because they don't want anybody stealing the kids. It's locked. So imagine an emergency situation and the unit is a locked unit. And the nurse that asked us for help left us there by ourselves. A hot, stinking mess. But listen, guys, y'all know the routine. I'm about to bring the people on in the building. I need a what in the chat? I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Saturday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. Yes, we do. The title is called Family Matters. We got the Amazon driver, did a hit and run. We got a question that says, they didn't get beat, the diva didn't get beat up. No, I didn't. But we got should parents charge the adult children rent, and the nurse that got attacked. Let me bring the people on in the building. Hold on one second, y'all. Hey, Savannah. Hey, Wayne.
Hey, Diva.
Hey, Katrina.
Hey, y'all, hit the like button.
Hit the like button. Thank you, Mom.
Hey, chat. Hey, panel.
Hey.
Choo.
Got 3 more mods in the building on the panel. I appreciate y'all. All right. Listen, first, let me give an update on that story where the children were in the home alone for years. There's some people, there's a little bit more information to that. Let me just see where I have it at. Okay, I have it here. Let's just take a listen to this update. Okay.
Denied with questions still swirling regarding 3 children that investigators say were abandoned for years inside a Pontiac home. Where was the mom living that whole time? Welcome to 7 News Detroit at 6. I'm Carolyn Clifford.
And I'm Mike Duffy. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, Kelly Bryant is facing federal charges of child abuse after investigators discovered her children living in filth and squalor for years. And today, our team found out where Bryant may have been living.
And that's not all. 7 News Detroit reporter Sarah Michaels is also listening to the children's grandparents tonight and a neighbor who says he actually had interactions with the kids before.
Up until this point, many of us believe that the 3 children living in this home had no contact with anyone except for their mother for nearly 5 years. Well, today we learned that at least a handful of times they did call out to a neighbor.
Was it just that one time?
Maybe 2 or 3 times.
A father himself, Jamar Johnson, tells me he felt the need to share that he heard the 3 kids abandoned in squalor in this Pontiac home. For 6 months, he has lived 2 doors down, and occasionally they yelled out their window to him.
They say, hey, nice car. But, and I might wave back at them, but that's it. There's no way that I could have known that they were in a terrible situation.
Johnson says, how could he know that the room the children were calling from was stacked 4 feet high with mold, feces, and trash? He says he never saw them outside, but he saw their mother, 34-year-old Kelly Marie Bryant.
She would be outside for hours and hours with a friend.
Johnson says Bryant was always in a car with a friend. He never saw her go inside, and he wonders, who was that friend? Did they know who Bryant was hiding?
She's from here, she's from there. We don't know where she resides.
So many have been wondering where Bryant herself lived while her children sat in isolation. Court documents show 2 addresses. At one of them, I talked to a woman who confirmed Bryant was living here. Were you guys living together?
Yeah.
The house is about 6 minutes away from where Bryant's children were. The woman behind the door telling me that Bryant always told them the kids were with their dad, and Bryant actually played with other people's kids. The 3 children, ages 15, 13, and 12, are currently staying with their maternal grandpa. Over the phone, their paternal grandpa, Samuel White, tells me he and the kids' father have been trying to see the kids for years.
But it just hurt because it's not the fact that she had to take them through that. Why would she do that and that wasn't the situation?
White says that he personally asked Bryant to bring the kids around. The answer was always no, begging the final question and perhaps the biggest question: why would she do this?
How are you guys coping with that?
I mean, it's sickening because it was like we wasn't running from the situation. We always asked about them. They doing all right, but it's a lot of scar there. It's a lot of scars.
Bryant will be back in court March 4th for a probable cause conference. In Pontiac, Sarah Michaels, 7 News Detroit.
A very difficult situation indeed. Thank you, Sarah.
Why didn't the dad and the grandfather or the dad go to the court? It's still a lot of questions with this. That was just a little update. Savannah, any thoughts?
First of all, thank God that she is arrested and faces some very serious charges, and that the community is rallying around these children. I've seen large donations of food, of clothing, and now they're also getting some scholarship funds together for the children. I did see a video today of a walkthrough of the apartment or the townhouse where they lived in. This thing was, I've never, and I don't watch Hoarders much, but I've seen 1 or 2 episodes of Hoarders. This was on a level that I've never witnessed, and I find it hard to believe that there weren't rodents or bugs and so there was a failure here of the system, of the neighborhood, of the schools, of the family, but first and foremost and always the woman that brought them to earth, because she doesn't deserve the title of mother. I'm just glad that the children are in a safer environment, and they have a long road ahead of them of recovery and therapy. I just hope that the people that are watching over them now have their best interests and know how delicate of a situation that these children are in, and it was horrific, Diva. It's online, and this actual news agency interviewed family as well, a family member of hers, and stated, and the family member had the nerve to stay on camera. Well, we always knew she was a bad mother, but we didn't know it was this bad.
Oh my God, are you serious?
I am so serious. I saw it on the news this morning, the same news station, that same story that you just showed. There's a second piece to it. And if I find it, I'll drop it in the private link. But a family member said they knew that she was a bad mother, but they did not know that it was this bad. So I hope, I'm hoping whoever the children are with, because they are with family, the maternal grandparents, I hope they're in a safer, more loving environment.
With the dad and the dad's father.
Okay.
With the dad and the dad's father. But I mean, I just don't understand why, dads have rights too. Like, why didn't the dad go to court? It's just, the story is just wild to me still. It's just crazy.
Absolutely.
And I want to know who this person is that was driving her and coming over to that house, and it was 6 minutes away, who was coming over there dropping off that food because they had to know something. I'm not going to keep dropping you off somewhere and and I don't know what you do. I ain't doing all that. Wayne, your thoughts?
You know, this is nobody's fault but this lady's. You know, sure, you know, we hope that the neighbors or somebody else or whatever, but some people cover their stuff up so good, and then they don't want people to be in their business or whatever reasons. You know, I can see where the grandparents will go. Look, 4 years that went by so fast went by so fast, and we look back. Oh my God, you know, COVID is over. It's like it's gone by so fast. And since COVID, not only that, COVID took a lot out of people. A lot of the people were people socialized. You know, a lot. We went through a time where we wasn't. You know, people was like, oh, you got a mask? Oh, you can't come here, can't come there. So we're seeing the effects from that. We're seeing the effects from that. That people aren't. They just maybe not inquisitive. You know, the grandparents said, hey, I want them to bring me around, but you can't bring them around, but you can't make them. I mean, if you don't know where they live, you don't know where they live. It's sad that it's gone on this long, but it's this woman's responsibility, and she needs to be held accountable. Okay? Nobody else. You know, how does the system know if they don't know that somebody's there? They weren't reported. They don't know what kids are there. So you can't say the system let them down. We don't even know if these kids ever been in school. I mean, I think, who was it said the other day we talked about it, how the kids were, at the time that she would have left them, they would have been kind of young and fending for themselves. Yeah, they had no socialization skills. They don't, you know, how to deal with people, waving at people, you know. So this woman alone, and she needs, I don't know, they need to do something with her because this is just ridiculous. She just screwed up these kids' lives. These kids gonna have a scar on them the rest of their life. No mama that care about them, no daddy that care about them. They probably think nobody cares about them. I'm done.
Yeah, Katrina, your thoughts?
Yeah, these kids are gonna have Stockholm syndrome
Mm.
because, like, what 15 and 16-year-old never go outside? She had them trained not to even go outside. I mean, they're not bathing. I guess, I mean, they have not even having toilet tissue. And for them to, I mean, even she got them so to the point where these kids don't even know when to clean up. I mean, kindergartens know when to clean up. They know when they make a mess, they clean up. And this house looked the way it looked. These kids don't even know how to self-clean, don't know how to clean themselves, don't know how to clean no house. You start doing this when you in kindergarten, learning how to clean up behind yourself. And they living in a house like this. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, what child don't go outside when they have a way to go outside? Did she keep them locked inside the house and she kept the key or something? Because most kids gonna go out the door. Even if the mama tells them not to, we will sneak outside. But she had these kids so terrified that they didn't even go outside. I mean, they seen people walking past and whatsoever, and not one of them said,
We lost you, Katrina.
It's amazing that them kids don't have diseases, just they ain't sick as dogs. They said mold, all that.
Oh God.
It's a good thing they were young. An older person, they wouldn't have made it through that. They'd have caught every disease under the sun.
They would have. I think the issue is that she left them. We discovered the other day they was probably around the 6, 7, 8 range or something like that. Right?
I'm sorry about that, Diva. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can. Go ahead.
Okay, yes. I'm just saying these kids don't even have the skills enough to go outside. You tell me one child that won't sneak outside when their parents is not around. She had these kids so terrified that they wouldn't even go out the door. Now you know these kids, oh my God, and the person that got them now, the dad and the granddad, they gonna have their hands full. Cause these kids gonna have nightmares. They ain't gonna know what to do. This they gonna have to go through a lot. And what she sitting in the car for? Was she out there smoking substances or something that she couldn't go in the house? And what man bring you to a house not checking out what's going, or whoever he was, not going in the house saying like, why I can't go in the house? You got a man or somebody in there? That's something weird on that. They both look like they own something. Well, she did look like she was on something, but I'm not gonna put that out there. But what I'm just saying is something's not right in your mind, girl. If you send up and letting your kids live like this, but you not living in there. You got that much sense that you don't want to live in there, but you got your kids living in there. Like I said, what they need to do is put her right in that dang house, let her live in that house the way that she had it, and give her food every once a day. It's just ridiculous. Give her the same treatment that she gave those kids. Why should she be locked up in a jail where she can take a bath, where she can eat 3 times a day, she can sleep, she can watch TV? No, put her in that swallow where she had them children living at and see how she liked it. That's all I got.
Thank you. Julius?
Someone call grandma and get the switch. That girl need a good old whooping. And I hope Ms. Lazaree, Cousin Susie, around the way, Wu Wei in the cell block is giving her just desserts. That house was completely and utterly disgusting. Disgusting. I'm just lost for words. Lost for words. And I hope that the father, now that he has physical custody of his children, hopefully temporary legal and all that other custody that goes into it, that he can get them into therapy, and that he can start therapy for himself to figure out how he can help his children, especially through this trauma.
They definitely need a lot of therapy. Thank you. So we're going to go ahead and roll right into tonight's topics. And I guess I'll do the Amazon driver one first. Just incredibly sad. I mean, people are psychotic. They're really sick. I mean, I couldn't believe this when I saw it. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, who does this? Okay. So Amazon delivery truck, victim named by lawyer, looking into lawsuit. So the woman who was run over by Amazon delivery truck has been identified, and her lawyer says they're investigating whether to sue. You need to just sue. Chelsea Douglas is the woman in the shocking video who was hit by the van, and her lawyer, David Elin, says she suffered life-threatening injuries in the scary incident. Now it's graphic. I'm going to show it. Oh my God. And then he kept going. Look at him looking. He's looking at him. Oh my God. He got back in his truck and he kept going. How sad is that? Elon says Douglas, who is obviously still recovering from the crash with severe injuries, has received a ton of requests for interviews and comments. But right now, she and her family need privacy so she can heal. Still, CMC spoke to Elon, who tells us it's too soon to know when a suit might be filed because they got a lot of investigating to do. But it sounds like it is on the horizon. We believe she's entitled to significant compensation for what she's been through, he tells us, and the family is happy the suspected driver of the truck is in custody. We shared the video with you, which shows the truck hitting a person in the crosswalk, with the driver then hopping out to check on the person after driving clear over her. After a few seconds, the driver gets back in the truck and begins to drive away, leaving the woman, who was initially not identified by name, lying in the street. A spokesperson for Amazon told us this is a terrible incident and the driver in question has been suspended from delivering on our behalf. We're working with his employer and law enforcement as they investigate. So that tells me that, Amazon just hires out people through a third party to drive and deliver for them, because they said we're working with his employer. So they had a GoFundMe looking to raise $50K, and as of this publication, they have raised about almost $14,000. Chelsea has a GoFundMe set up to pay for her medical bills, and it sounds like the lawsuit is coming too. They reached out to Amazon on Elon's new comments pertaining to Chelsea. So far, no word back. This was horrific. I know, come on, Miss Amy, suspended. How about fired? This was a horrific situation. Horrific. Savannah, your thoughts?
Diva, I'm questioning all the other cars that were around her. Nobody got out to assist her. That's where I'm so stuck on that right there. Nobody came to comfort her, render her first aid, or even hold the Amazon driver there. This can be attempted M. I mean, he literally, you knew with the first set of tires that you hit something. You knew you hit something, and you did not get out of your vehicle to inspect. Instead, you kept going, then exited your vehicle and saw that it was another human, and you continued. I'm always saying that we have lost our sense of humanity, and cameras, Ring cameras, cell phone cameras have been proving it that there is no sense. There is a complete disregard for life. And I'm at a loss here. I haven't heard this story. This is the first time I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, she deserves compensation. Hit Bezos. They don't pay no taxes, so absolutely hit Bezos for as much as you can. So I hope that the lawyers, she got a great legal team and get her set up, because this, I'm looking at the news article. She's in her 20s. She's only 25, 26. So she's young, has a whole life of therapy and recovery that she's going to need to do. So get your money.
Very sad. Yes, get your money. Julius, your thoughts?
So I actually seen this kind of incident in real time. I was driving home and someone had stopped me, and I just happened to look, seeing a lady on the street. I didn't think twice. I pulled to the side, got out my car. I asked what was going on, and the lady tried to move. I said, "Ma'am, are you okay?" She was able to mumble, but I was able to hear a sound. And cars was just still. I was like, "Oh, I had one person go to the other side, and where the street was at, it was like it had like another city street where you had to turn on. So I started delegating traffic just until the police got there. I never forget that night. And hit and runs happen. But that night, I was stopped in my tracks. Because this was an older lady. Someone's grandmother. Someone's aunt. I hope and pray she's okay today. It like times like this where I get angry at humanity. I don't care how cold it is outside. Them other two drivers, They should have put their car with their hazard lights on, and they should have ran to her aid. They should have ran to her aid. It's common sense. And when the police did get to the spot, he was like, "You just doing my job for me, just joking around. Like, if you want me to stop, I will." He's like, he took it over. So I got in my car and waited for further instructions. But I hope that driver was arrested. And I hope that lady didn't make it. But not only is the guy who did the hit and wrong, nobody ran to her and rendered her aid. So those two other drivers are wrong too.
Man, it's very sad. Wayne, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think either the dude was just heartless or he was in shock, which would be ridiculous because all those people around, it's like he just ain't know what to do. Who raised him? The other cars, I was kind of shocked and disappointed that nobody got out, even enough. Now everybody's not gonna get out, and everybody not gonna render assistance.
Right.
Because you go out there rendering assistance to somebody, you moved in the wrong way, and they worse off than they were when you moved them. So people are very careful and about touching people when when they're like that. So and they're talking about whether she's going to contemplate. No, she's going to sue. No, darn well she's going to sue. I just hope she pay that $50,000 back. If she get $50,000.
Oh, from the GoFundMe.
Right. Already got $13,000. No, darn well you got hit by an Amazon truck, even those third parties, even though they're insured. But if the insurance ain't enough through there, they go into Amazon. They go into Amazon, and this lawyer knows it's going to be a big payday. Okay, and doctor bills. I mean, do you have a job? Did she have a job? I mean, some kind of medical coverage. You don't mind helping out people with $50,000. I could use $10,000 myself. Come after $50,000, like she ain't even got no doctor bill yet. I'm done.
Katrina, your thoughts?
Diva, this whole story seemed fishy to me for some reason. I don't know why. Because she was crosswalking coming through, and he waited till she got right in front of her because he was at a stop, and then he hit her, and then he rolled over, went over her, and then he get out the car. He looked at her. I guess he must have asked some questions or whatsoever. But who in their right mind get back in a car and drive off? Knowing you ain't hit somebody, that's a hit and run. That's a felony. This just seems weird to me. And like Wayne said, people didn't get out because if you touch somebody and you moving the wrong way, then you at fault. A lot of people tell, even if you nurses or whatsoever, you get out, you touch somebody, then they'll want to try to sue you, even though you try to save their life. But what I'm saying is, for this man, she's 26 years old. I don't know where she was coming from, what she doing. I'm not, I always think out the box sometimes. But I'm just saying, he hears her, run over, talk to her. We don't know what they said. Get back in his car and leave. And you knowing that you driving for Amazon. This is a big time lawsuit, even if it's through a third party. This is a big time lawsuit. And if that person did it, she don't have to worry about her hospital bills because Amazon going to have to pay her hospital bills. It's like this pain and suffering is 3 times what your hospital bills are, is what you get in a lawsuit. So if she in ICU, which is like what, $100,000 a day. If she in ICU or whatsoever, whatever her hospital bill is, you get that 3 times for pain and suffering. But I'm just saying, this just seemed weird to me. And yes, he needs to be fired, brought in, or whatsoever, because all they do is throw out packages on the side of a road and don't deliver them. So I mean, this just weird to me that he runs her over, get out the car, talk to her, and then get back in the car and drive off. This just weird to me, but you got to stay on this story because something ain't adding up right. And like I said, is she need to go fund me or whatsoever. But if the Amazon guy is responsible, Amazon kicks in and pay that hospital bill. I don't know if she need the 50,000 for that. It's none of my business. But what I'm saying is, if she got this kind of case and she got a lawyer. Yes, the bill gonna come to her, but for the most part, Amazon got to step in and take over that hospital bill. She can
So,
take him to
so
court.
let me just add this to the story. First of all, nobody gets the money immediately and that quickly, right? She didn't even begin to sue yet. And maybe her family wrote that they're going to use the money for hospital bills. But at the end of the day, even if she gets disability, your disability or your whatever check is nowhere near if you was actually working. This woman is going to need therapy. I don't think that she's trying to game the system here. And actually, $50,000 is nothing. This man ran over her. He stopped when the car was still over her and she was underneath. And then he continued to drive the freaking car and it went over her some more. He's in the wrong. And maybe he left. Maybe he left because he didn't have the right paperwork, or he was half drunk, or he was high, but he drove off. So he can't even say, I don't know. I didn't know I hit a real person, because he stopped his car. He got out. He looked at her. No, this is not her problem. This is that driver problem. This is Amazon problem. And in addition to that, I don't think that she's trying to game the system by asking for $50,000. $50,000 is nothing. Nothing.
No, I'm not saying she's trying to game the system. I'm saying, and I know the money don't come as well as it's supposed to, but sometimes when you got these type of lawsuits, they will send a check in, even though you're suing. They have a way they set it up, especially when we see that it's the Amazon person. So they can't dispute it because it's right there on the camera. And so when they see this, the hospital as well can sue Amazon if this woman can't pay her bills.
Can't sue Amazon. No, they cannot. They cannot sue. The hospital cannot sue Amazon. Listen, the bill is the woman's alone. Can you mute because it's getting the hospital bill is this woman's and this woman's alone. But either way, she's traumatized. Nobody from what we saw, you heard her screams. Come on, Julius. And we didn't see, maybe there's more video where people actually did at least stand around to make sure no other car could hit her. Come on now. It's going to be going so fast as it comes in. That's a drop in the bucket. Come on, Tanya. That's a drop in the bucket. They wasn't even being greedy. Really, if the GoFundMe needs to be 100,000 or something crazy like that. This woman is traumatized to the point where she's like, I don't even want to come be doing no interviews. I'm still trying to heal. First of all, getting hit by a car is enough trauma as is. I've known people that got hit by a car, but getting hit by a car and then getting run over by a car is two different things. This car ran her the freak over, and then he stopped. The car is still over her, and she's underneath it, and this man ran over her some more and then left. But I'm going to stay connected to this story, and we're going to move on to the next story. So there's a debate with, should parents charge adult children rent? So let's roll into this story. Where am I? Okay, I think this is it. Mom says it's weird and greedy to charge adult kids rent for staying in their childhood home. The mom wrote that she thinks charging kids rent is setting them up for failure in a post on the UK parenting forum, Mumsnet. A mom is questioning why other parents choose to make their adult kids pay rent to live in their childhood home. In a recent post on the UK parenting forum, Momsnet, the mom shared that she has a friend who charges her 17-year-old, now that's crazy to me, daughter rent, and she finds it weird. She said her own parents did the same when she was growing up. Am I the only one who thinks is setting your kids up for failure and greedy to charge your kids for staying in their childhood home? She asks, explaining, I want my kids to be able to afford their own place, not make it harder for them. The mom concluded her post by saying that if she did charge her kids rent, she would pretend to and then give all the money back to them later. In the comments, some fellow parents suggested that it depends on the situation. If an 18-year-old has a job and is still living with their parent and the parents isn't financially well off, why should the parents still continue to pay for the child's lifestyle? Maybe the parents have struggled for years to pay bills, working hard, etc. The child should pay for their own way, one person wrote. If the parent is financially well off and can afford to not charge rent, fantastic. Others took to the stance that any kid older than 18 should be paying their own way, regardless of the parent's financial situation, unless they are still in school. My view is if a child is over 18 and working full time, not in education, then yes, of course, they should pay, mainly because it teaches them financial responsibility, a commenter said. Life is not free. Having your full income as pocket money is not a good life lesson at all. However, quite a few commenters agreed with the original poster, saying that they don't believe in charging kids rent to live at their home because they see it as a way to give them a leg up in a tough economy. I don't charge my 19-year-old daughter rent because I'm encouraging her to save money for a house deposit. It's hard enough for young people to get on the ladder these days. Why would I want to set her back even further? One person wrote. But one commenter disagreed with this and with the accusation that making kids pay rent sends them back. On the contrary, they learn the value of their labor and budgeting skills, the user wrote. One of the tasks of parenting is teaching these aspects of adulthood. Mollycoddling teaches them nothing of value and is actually a real disservice to them. Another person agreed, pointing out that kids are not required to pay rent. They get used to having a salary, but no living expenses. It becomes very difficult to motivate yourself to move out, they argued. So listen, your thoughts, Savannah, on charging the adult kids rent to live in your home?
Well, this article was in the UK and not in the US, because in the US, we are legally responsible for our children up to the age of 18. And so I do not agree with charging a 17-year-old rent. I think that's asinine. But a grown adult, if you are staying with me, you're going to be paying your way. And because my job is done, and I tell my children this, and I have my son, he's 35, I think. I don't remember when I gave birth to him, but he's in his 30s, and he doesn't live that far from me. And when he goes to Costco's, he always picks up extra things for me and drop them off, like toilet paper, Bounty, or whatever. So he always makes sure that I have something that I don't need. But if he stays with me, he absolutely says, Mom, I got the water bill, or I'll take care of this, or something like that. If any of my adult children were to come to stay with me, you would be, or any of my nieces and nephews. I had a niece stay with me for a year while she graduated college and came up to DC to work. And she stayed with me for a year, and I absolutely charged her rent. So we're doing this together. I'm going to help you get set up, and we're going to do this together. So you're raising, by not charging adult children rent, you're raising people that are not financially responsible and who are just, riding off your back and your wallet for free. And I absolutely do not agree with that. And I think that's what's wrong with this generation, who feel like they don't know what the value of working hard is. They think, I'll do a podcast or get on YouTube or TikTok and make quick, fast money. And they don't know what it is to work fast foods and all these manual jobs like lifeguarding and things like that. So absolutely not. I believe that you should be charging your grown adult children. If they're staying with you, you are a tenant here. So I'm charging you rent. Absolutely not. This isn't your home. This is mine. I allow you to stay here until you get your own. So that's what I got. Absolutely not.
Thank you, Savannah. Julius, your thoughts?
Well, I actually do live in my childhood home, but with my situation, I do have an agreement with my parents. I go to school, I work my PCA job, pay all my bills, I help out around the house. And my parents also guide me on the financial aspect of don't do nothing that will put you in a financial bond, which that advice has been beneficial to me. Because recently I was gonna be thinking about getting my own apartment. But thinking about all my other expenses, trying to pay down credit card debt, well, due to my reckless spending, I'm not gonna lie. But in the interest of things, I had to really sit and think. I'm not where I am career-wise yet. I'm still in school. Do I really want the added expense that would stress me out? And so they're like, no. You can stay here, continue to do what you're going to do, pay your bills to get your footing on the straight and narrow, continue to go to school, continue to do your PCA job. And it's just like now, I have a work study job in the financial aid office at my school, which I'm trying to graduate for next year. I can apply to work in that said office just for doing this. But on the flip side, I do see the other side. Now, if an adult, like in my big old age, is not doing a thing, not going to school, don't have a job, just being all out lazy, yes, they do need to be contributing.
Right.
They do need to be contributing. Like, it doesn't take much to like, hey, what do you need? Like sometimes I do help out my mom and my dad when I can with a bill here and there. Not all the time, but here and there. It doesn't take much. Like, and I say this to folks all the time. I said, be thankful you can have that cushion that you have. Because some folks they don't got it like that. Some folks are the heads of households. And I don't believe in charging 17, 16-year-olds rent. But some 17 and 16-year-olds are heads of households. In paying all these bills, and they have zero idea of how they had to learn from scratch. And I tell folks, be thankful for the way that you have it, because some people don't have it like that.
That's facts. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Julius. Wayne, your thoughts?
I think it depends. At 18, okay, if you're not working, you got to be going to school. It's either one or the other.
Right.
And if you're going to school, I don't want you to work.
Right.
Because I want you to concentrate on school. And if you're going to college, and you from home, and you still live at home, no. Because I want you to put 100% into your education. Okay? I'll carry the weight. You having to live here. Okay? Because I don't want you to work. Okay? Now, 18 and you're not working and you got a job, okay, I'm not gonna make you pay rent, but pick which bill you want to pay each month, because you have to learn some responsibilities. And it's not so much about the money, it's teaching them. So when they leave your house and go live someplace else, they know what to do. They're not walking in, don't know how to pay bills, don't know how to do things, have the gas turned on, the electric turned on, all that kind of stuff. You know, so I think if they're not going to school and they're home, you got to pay something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not trying, because I know how hard it is the way these rents are, $2,000 and $3,000. But you got to contribute something. You're not going to be walking around with an Apple Watch on, an Apple for iPhone, and all these, you know, PlayStations and in your room, and all you can buy all the games and stuff. No. Okay, if you can do that, you can give me some money for one of these bills.
Understood. Thank you, Wayne. Katrina, your thoughts?
Wayne, they can't have an Apple Watch? Dang, man, you hard.
You can have one. You can have one. You can be gonna pay a bill too.
Man, you hard. But I feel like this: if I don't give you the tools to survive, how you gonna go out in the world and learn how to survive?
Mm-hmm.
You have to start from the kids growing up. Me myself personally, I'm a country girl. At the age of 10 and 11, 12, I was picking okra, butter beans, and whatsoever, just like country jobs in the summertime when folks come by. But no, my mom would never charge me rent or whatsoever. But what I'm saying is, she showed me what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm an only child, and yeah, I got a lot of stuff. I got away with stuff that I shouldn't have got away with. But the way I train my kids, I try to give them structure so you can go out and provide for yourself. I'm always going to be your safety net. As long as I'm on this earth, I always got your back.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing of it is, I'm happy that my kids did exactly what they needed to do. I got one that's an RN, one that's in two of them in the Air Force. My son, he works for the Department of Transportation. He breeds pit bulls. My oldest one, she was in the Army, but she got out, but she do taxes, insurance, hair. She's a multi-tax. But what I'm saying is, I was there to help them along the way so they would know what to do when they got on their own family and their own kids. But they always know all they got to do is pick up the phone. I'm there. I'm going to be your safety net. But you got to go out there and do this on your own. And they have. And I praise God for this every day. I mean, it wasn't easy whatsoever because being in the military, you know, you're from kids and all that type of stuff. But you have to give your kids the tools to make it in this world, because you send them out there and they don't know what's going on. They don't have no structure. They're going to be right back at home. So you start them off. Like I said, they're in school. They can work a part-time job. And you can use that pay for your books whatsoever. But when you get to the point where you got making enough money, I would take the money for the rent. But the thing of it is, I will put it in an account. So when you do go home, when you do decide to get your job, your place of living, I will give it back to you. I mean, like, well, here, you know, you gave this to me for rent or whatsoever, but here you go. Here's your leg up. And that's what I did. So I'm not saying that everybody should charge their children. I'm just saying it's different ways to do things, and it's different way to give your kids structure. Because I'm telling you right now, if they don't have no structure or know how to discipline themselves, they ain't gonna make it in this world. That's all I got.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Handy B likes your idea, Katrina. All right, we're going to go ahead and roll into this last story. And the last story is, I feel for this nurse. This nurse, unfortunately, a patient beat her up. The patient has been charged, but still, imagine the trauma that she is dealing with. So a hospital patient charged with attempted M after allegedly breaking every bone in the nurse's face during the attack. According to police, the patient is also facing a hate crime enhancement on his charge of attempted second-degree murder. I'm taking the guess, it doesn't really say in this story, I'm taking the guess that this nurse was either of color or something. It's something about this nurse that they're adding this hate crime. A hospital patient, but it could be so many things. Hate crime covers a big umbrella, but it could be so many things, but it's something about this nurse that they're adding this hate crime. A hospital patient has been charged with attempted murder after allegedly beating up a nurse at a hospital in West Palm Beach, Florida, according to authorities. The Palm Beach Sheriff's Office shared in a post on X that Stephen Scantlebury was arrested on charges of attempted M after allegedly committing aggravated battery against a nurse at Palms West Hospital. Police stated in another post on X that officers were dispatched to the scene at around 1:20 p.m. local time on February 18th when they found the nurse critically injured. She was subsequently transported to St. Mary's Hospital while Scantlebury, 33, was detained. Police said the incident was under investigation by the Violent Crimes Division and further updates will be provided. In an update shared on Thursday, February 20th, police said a hate crime enhancement was being added to Scantlebury's existing charge of attempted second-degree M based on their ongoing investigation. Hate crime enhancements, if proven, can result in harsher penalties upon conviction. They highlight the motive behind the defendant's actions and their broader impact on the community, police said in a statement. According to a probable cause affidavit of the incident obtained by the news, Scantlebury allegedly inexplicably jumped on top of his bed and then onto the nurse and attacked her. A person who witnessed the attack then ran out of the room to call for help. Police said in the affidavit that essentially every bone in the victim's face is broken and the victim is likely to lose the use of both eyes as a result of the incident. Police described the severity of her injuries as critical and noted that because of her injuries, she was not able to provide a statement to investigators. HCA Florida Healthcare, which owns Palms West Hospital, said in a statement to the outlets that they were praying for the recovery of their beloved colleague and providing support to our hospital staff who were understandably shaken by this incident. The attack on our nursing colleague happened within a matter of seconds and was witnessed by multiple people who came to assist. The company continued. We are grateful to the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office who acted to detain the suspect and were assisting law enforcement in their investigation. Now, most hospitals have security guards. This is crazy and it's very sad because not only was she beaten up, but now she's going to lose her sight. Savannah, your thoughts?
This is absolutely, I can't even, because I did hear that that she was also going to lose her sight. So she's also now lost her profession and her way of living. And you said this happened in Palm Beach. Is it Florida? Did this happen in Florida?
Yes.
So yeah, more than likely the nurse was, if she wasn't African American, she was Hispanic, and there should, as far as I know, there's security at almost every facility, every clinic. So he's charged correctly with attempted M, and I just, and I think we're all familiar with the prejudice and bias that especially white men have when it comes to being treated by a medical professional of someone other than their race. I'm at a loss with this story, Diva, because it's heartbreaking knowing that she runs the potential of now being blind, and he looks like a big dude. She must have been a small female, and for him to break every bone in her face, that was a vicious, savage attack that he did. So he's charged correctly. I just hope this woman has a good support system around her to help her recover, and she has a long road ahead of her. I'm at a loss in this one, Diva.
Yeah, thank
We're
you.
it's unfortunate, but I think we're gonna see more stories like this.
Okay, I have a little bit more. Hold on one second. Let's play this.
Longtime nurse fighting for her life. The deputies say she was brutally attacked while working at Palms West Hospital in Loxahatchee.
Investigators say Stephen Scantlebury had been acting paranoid for days. Witnesses say he stood over the nurse yesterday afternoon, hitting her repeatedly in the face with his fists. Police say he broke nearly every bone in her face and that the nurse may lose the use of both of her eyes. He then ran out of the hospital and eventually onto Southern Boulevard, where he was arrested. I'm Tiffany Kenny.
I'm Todd McDermott. Thanks for joining us here at 6 o'clock. We have live team coverage for you tonight as we look into this attack. We learn more about the suspect and what happened inside the hospital. First, in an exclusive interview, investigative reporter Terry Parker spoke to the victim's daughter, a doctor herself, who's demanding answers about hospital security.
And Terry, she is asking why a dangerous psychiatric patient was even brought there in the first place.
That's exactly right. It was supposed to be just a normal shift for 67-year-old nurse Leela, but in seconds, all that changed. And tonight, in an exclusive interview, her daughter, who is a doctor herself, has these questions. She's outraged over what she calls serious hospital failures, from security concerns as to why a violent psychiatric patient was even brought to this hospital in the first place. Tonight, she shares her frustrations, her fears, and her questions. This is Leela, the nurse brutally attacked inside a Palms West hospital room by Stephen Scantlebury. He was caught moments later running shirtless down Southern Boulevard.
I got a call yesterday at 2 p.m. from her phone, and I answered. It wasn't her. It was someone else. I started freaking out, and they told me that she was assaulted by a patient, and I need to get down there, immediately.
Her daughter, Cindy, a physician herself, doesn't want their last names used for privacy. She tells me she rushed frantically from Melbourne to her mother's bedside in the ICU at St. Mary's Medical Center to find out it was worse than she thought.
She has multiple fractures of the orbit, subarachnoid, subdural bleeding in the brain, clavicle fracture, swollen eyes, bruises in both eyes, bruises in the face. To me, it looks like it's more than just, one blow. It looks like several blows, and it was pretty intense. I just find it surprising that, they could have intervened sooner.
And until I gave her a copy of the police report, Cindy says she didn't even know exactly what happened.
Asked so many people, but no one can give me a straight answer as to what happened to her. Everyone just said it was an assault, not specifics.
Adding to Cindy's anger, that Scantlebury got out of the hospital before being caught by deputies.
This guy was on the third floor. He escaped the hospital. He was on the road. Where was security in all of this? This shouldn't have happened at a hospital.
The suspect, who police say was Baker active for psychiatric issues, was brought to Palms West, even though Cindy says it does not have a psychiatric ward.
Palms West does not have a psychiatry unit. They're not equipped to handle Baker Act patients. So I wonder, if he had a thorough psychiatric evaluation.
HCA Florida confirms Palms West Hospital is not a Baker Act receiving facility, but says if a patient comes to the hospital for a medical condition and starts to exhibit signs or certain behaviors, a mental health assessment is performed to determine if the patient qualifies for a Baker Act designation. Scantlebury is now facing attempted murder charges, and meanwhile, Cindy and her family are left reeling.
I think I was in shock yesterday. I'm kind of sad now and angry, upset and very upset and sad, and just she's everything to me. She's my whole world.
Cindy tells me that the whole family was supposed to go to Atlanta this weekend to celebrate her little daughter's first birthday. Instead, she's right there by her mother's bedside in the ICU, waiting and hoping that her mother will recover after all of these surgeries, and of course, still facing all these questions. I've reached out to the hospital once again, trying to get answers as to how all this happened and how it went so far. Terry Parker, WPBF 25 News.
Super sad. Julius?
Now, that's what you call a medical professional. Giving us the full rundown. My heart breaks for her. And I hope that she can make a recovery, but those injuries are heinous. And I just hope that they are going to be able to keep her spirits up, because if she's told that she can no longer work and she loves her job, when that depression hits, it's going to hit her hard. And I hope that she can make a full recovery. Oh yeah, and for that crazy fool, yeah, I hope he gets locked up. It's not even a psychiatric thing at this point. It's a attempted M at this rate. So I hope he gets locked up.
Thank you, Julius. The system actually failed both of them. The system failed both of them. If this man had psychiatric issues and that was not the hospital that he should have been in, and I think when she started to get beat up, this is just Diva's thoughts, this is not a fact, that everybody else around her panicked and they just stood there frozen and did nothing. Wayne, your thoughts?
This man ain't crazy. You see, he didn't beat up the
cop,
them or the paramedics.
Okay, Wayne, I'm with you. I'm hearing you.
How come he ain't jump on him here every opportunity? You know, this man is crazy. He's going to use that, and as far as you know, if he takes that in court, because they already said that he was a psychiatric patient. But psychiatric or not, somebody need to open up a can of you know what. Because I don't go for that. You know, sometimes I understand, you know, people psychotic and stuff like that, but to me, that just don't, you know, it's selective craziness. You selected a weak woman, elderly woman, and you go off like that. He's so bad. When he was out there, did he resist? He laid right down like a puppy dog. So he can say that's psychiatric for somebody else. Good thing I wouldn't be on the jury. I'm done.
Oh, yeah, you made a good point, Wayne. I didn't catch that. I appreciate that. Katrina, your thoughts?
Yeah. The thing is, as long as he got that the psychiatrist recommendation in his file, they're gonna look at it as him being a certified nut. And if they look at that record and see that he's been treated for psychological problems, they're going to find a way to get him off, even though we know it's wrong. And like you said, Diva, the system failed both of them, especially when it's in his medical history that he has these type of problems. And why would you bring him to the hospital knowing that he have these type of problems? Maybe he been beating up on women all along, and the reason why he didn't beat up on the paramedics maybe because they're women. Maybe because there was men, and he's seeing this woman, and maybe that's what he's been doing all along. And it's something triggered in his brain, which whatever brain cells he got left. And he saw this woman and beat her for what reason? He just started punching for what reason? I've known of things that happen. Like I've seen patients kick people in the stomach, and I've seen the nurse wailing on their head. But of course, I'm not gonna run my mouth because you shouldn't have kicked her in the stomach. And plus, she was pregnant. I've seen a lot of stuff. I've been hit in the back with a call light, and I had to repress because the old me would have probably bopped them. But I'm like, let me stop because this person is not in their mind because I worked on the Alzheimer's floor. But like I said, as long as he got that in his background, they probably sent him to a mental facility or something like that for like 30 days or whatever. But we just think that he deserved more. But why he got that in his medical history, I doubt it. And that's a sad situation. And I hope the hospital pay her for what she went through because this is horrible. I know she's going to be through a lot of pain. This woman and she's 60 something years old as well. Oh my God, this is ridiculous on so many levels. This is ridiculous on so many levels. Like you said, Diva, the system failed the both of them. That's all I got.
Thank you. I'm going to stay connected to this story. Now he is charged. He's charged with second degree, whatever, murder. So this is horrible. You are correct, Increased Manners. This is horrible. And the fact that she is going to potentially lose her eyes. This man lost it. And I'm 10 toes down that the staff, they all froze. And this poor 67-year-old nurse got beat down while they all froze. And I know they froze because afterwards, how did he get out the hospital? Where's security? I think they all got scared and nobody wanted to touch him after they saw, unfortunately, what happened to their co-worker. And I'll tell you right now, I'd rather be blind. I mean, not blind. I'd rather be able to see and walk, talk, and use my own hands and be broke than to have a whole bunch of money and I can't see. It's messed up. So yeah, she could sue the hospital, she could sue everybody, but you would rather see. He beat her to the point where she may lose her eyesight. It's horrific. It's an epic fail. And where was security? It should have been a button press and immediately help should have came.
Somewhere eating donuts and drinking coffee.
No, I worked in a hospital. We called security, boom, security was there. It's very sad. Listen, guys, I appreciate y'all. Okay. Anti-Afro said he won't get off. He'll be sent to a psychiatric hospital to restore competency, then placed on trial. He won't be sent out into the streets. Praise the Lord. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Handy B. This is crazy. I think they all panicked and froze, including the one, and I'm not blaming her for anything, but including the one who watched it happen and then ran out to get help. There's a call bell. Try to throw something at that crazy fool and press the call bell and say help. She might have gotten less injuries if you stayed and started throwing stuff at this man. Sad. I'm trying to figure out the hate crime part though. Was it the ethnicity? Was it that she's, I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. Was he saying things that they added the hate crime to it? I'm going to stay connected.
He probably was. He probably was saying, go back home. Girl, ain't no telling what he was in there saying.
Yeah, this is sad. Well,
that hospital is very close to Mar-a-Lago, so that area is heavy Republican.
Very sad. But listen, guys, I will stay connected to this story. Thanks for coming through tonight. We had a nice express train ride. I always like when we have those, okay? That's right, Tay, don't cheat the diva. Beep, beep, and thank you. Listen, guys, if you didn't hit that like button on the way in, hit it on the way out. I appreciate y'all coming through. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Happy Saturday.